The small-town rivalry that frames your history as antagonism is not merely a source of romantic tension, but a profound mirror reflecting the parts of yourself you have been conditioned to suppress in service of local reputation. And true partnership requires not defeating the other through social dominance, but integrating the weight of shared vulnerability until love becomes an act of radical recognition rather than performative competition. In Hide and Seek, Felice Stevens transforms the enemies to lovers romance trope into precise exploration of queer sovereignty and embodied accountability, proving liberation isn't found in winning the feud, it's forged in honoring the man beneath the grudge when every community expectation demands you remain either adversary or ally. From Autumn Leaves and Main Street narration, listeners enter worlds where friction is syntax and presence is the only unbreakable vow. Perfect for fans of emotionally intelligent fiction, where male complexity defies toxic rivalry tropes. When returning resident Julian Thorne faces off against childhood nemesis Kaylin Vance expecting territorial warfare, he discovers his opponent's guarded intensity mirrors the exact suppression he's endured beneath years of performative masculinity. And Kaylin's quiet refusal to enforce old hierarchies creates space for connection, defying town gossip. Navigating seasonal festivals and bored attractions, Julian realizes this entanglement isn't about conquest but recalibration, with Stevens avoiding reducing Julian to bitter returnee or Kaylin to smug local, instead crafting radical reciprocity within constraint, where trust is earned through honoring boundaries, even as history blurs them. And audiobook narration amplifies this alchemy by capturing Julian's disciplined composure fracturing into clarity, and Kaylin's guarded intensity revealing warmth beneath vigilance, making listeners feel seismic shifts of souls, learning some bonds can only be claimed when you stop letting pasts define their validity. What elevates this beyond typical fare is portraying small-town intimacy as somatic practice rather than romanticized nostalgia, with Julian confronting how rural culture equated worth with conformity, while Kaylin creates sanctuary where his contradictions exist without diminishment, their relationship evolving through shared silences during harvest preparations, bypassing performance, rhythms protecting both emotional integrity and psychological safety, and mutual defense against neighbors mistaking tenderness for betrayal, supported by fellow queer residents encoding suppressed longing, elders carrying intergenerational weight, and Appleton falls itself absorbing decades of unspoken bargains, reinforcing that in extraction-based systems, tenderness toward process is technique, and presence is sustainable resource, with town rituals mirroring emotional attunement and reconciliations becoming metaphors for earned trust. For audiobook listeners, this production is immersive descent into sacred reclamation, with narrators embodying Julian and Kaylin with remarkable distinction, sound design anchoring existential stakes through distant church bells, rain against porch swings, and hushed breath syncing with moments of clarity, pacing mirroring revelatory cadence from deliberate reflection to surging awakenings, ultimately redefining enemies to lovers romance by centering queer epistemology within small-town frameworks, and affirming that sometimes the most powerful act is choosing to see clearly, honoring whole self even in landscapes shaped by memory.